Now this is Acts chapter 5 verse 17 through to 26. Remember, there was such an amazing work of God, the grace of God. People were being, it says that people were being brought into Jerusalem. They were laying them on the streets so that Peter could walk by. And if when his shadow went by, people were being healed. It says that, it says here, people who were sick or afflicted with unclean spirits, and they were all being healed. But the high priest rose up along with all of his associates, that is the sect of the Sadducees. Remember, those are the ones who didn't believe in the resurrection, and that's why they were so against the apostles, because they were preaching in Jesus the resurrection of the dead. And they, that's the high priest and the Sadducees, were filled with jealousy. They laid hands on the apostles and put them in public jail. But during the night, an angel of the Lord opened the gates of the prison, and taking them out, he said, "Go, stand and speak to the people in the temple the whole message of this life." Upon hearing this, they entered into the temple about daybreak and began to teach. Now, when the high priest and his associates came, they called the council together, even all the senate of the sons of Israel, and sent orders to the prison house for them to be brought. But the officers who came did not find them in the prison, and they returned and reported back, saying, "We found the prison house locked quite securely, and the guards standing at the doors. But when we had opened up, we found no one inside." Now, when the captain of the temple guard and the chief priests heard these words, they were greatly perplexed about them as to what would come of this. But someone came and reported to them, "The men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people." Then the captain went along with the officers and proceeded to bring them back without violence, for they were afraid of the people, that they might be stoned. They can't do anything, can they? These Annas and Caiaphas, they're jealous. They're jealous of the apostles, because thousands and thousands of people are turning to the Lord, and they are turning to Jesus, and they are following the teaching of the apostles. It's now the apostles who are getting, if you like, the upper hand in terms of power within Jerusalem, and the high priest and his associates and the Sadducees are jealous. That's the reason. That's the reason when we preach the gospel so often that people get jealous of what we are preaching and what we are doing, and by the power and the name by which we speak. And so they put them in jail. But during the night, the Lord sends an angel, opens up the doors and the angel says, "Go stand and speak to the people in the temple the whole message of this life." This is a divine intervention and a direct word. Perhaps if they were just released, they wouldn't know perhaps what to do, whether to just disappear or what. But they had a direct instruction: go into the temple courts, preach the gospel, well, teach the message, the whole message of this life. So off they go. And laughably, the high priest, they meet together, what we're going to do about these people. And he says to the temple guards, "Go and get them." They go to get them, and they find that the cells are all locked, but no one's inside. And they come back, "We don't really know what to do. There's no one inside the prison." And then someone comes along and says, "Oh, you know those people that you locked up? Well, they're in the temple courts, preaching to all the people again." And so they bring them in again. They went back and proceeded to bring them back without violence. They went up, but I'm sure they would have gone up to Peter and said, "Caiaphas and Annas would like to see you. Would it be okay if you just came with us to see the high priest and the Sadducees? Would that be okay?" And Peter and the apostles said, "Yeah, fine." So off they go to meet with these so-called authorities.